Yo, what's good, y'all? Slow-mo back here, hitting you with another video. Today, let's discuss some things that we know are going to happen and some rumors of things that might happen. And after laying it all out there, I'll let you guys know my opinion on it. So Microsoft announced last week a special Inside Xbox event for this Thursday, May 7th. This event will be showcasing actual gameplay of games running on the Xbox Series X, slated to be released later this year. These games will be games coming from partners, likely those who have marketing deals with Xbox Game Studios and not actual first-party games, and that's cool. I'm excited to see games running on this new console. I want to see how well it stacks up to PC gaming. I want to see some new games and what may be in store in the future. This might actually be the first time I'm excited for an Inside Xbox. Ubisoft has insinuated they will be there, and since they just revealed Assassin's Creed Valhalla last week, it is likely we will see gameplay of that game and maybe some of the others they have scheduled to come out this year, like Watch Dogs Legion. And of course, whenever there is confirmed news, there's also the unconfirmed rumors that follow right behind it. Even before this special Inside Xbox was announced, there was a rumor that Microsoft has planned 2 events for the next 2 months, one in May and one in June. And the one in June would be happening around the same time their 2020 Xbox conference would have happened if E3 wasn't canceled. So the latest rumors say this Inside Xbox is going to be all about third-party games that would have likely been shown at E3, and the later show in June will be all about first-party Xbox games. Yesterday there was a leak of sorts. I think it's completely fake. Why do you ask? I think it's completely fake. Nobody in the business this person claims they were in would be doing what they're doing. This fake leaker tells us they were working in the Xbox Game Studio publishing division and then left due to workplace conflicts. This is the biggest red flag right here. Right in the beginning of the leak, announcing where you worked, which division you worked in, and why you left, saying when you left, while deciding to leak this info for such a petty reason would really narrow down who just broke their NDA. Apparently, this person never wants to work in the industry ever again, because they'll certainly be blackballed after this, and that's fine. If they never want to work in the gaming industry again, that's fine, but I have a hard time believing they have no problem dealing with the legal ramifications that will be coming right along with it. Furthermore, the info just seems like a compilation of all the things Xbox-centric podcasts have been discussing and wanting and saying they've wanted for months. So despite it being fake, I still wanted to take a look at this wish list of sorts and give my take on how I feel about it. First up is World's Edge is working on Age of Empires 5. You know, that's interesting because they haven't released Age of Empires 4 yet, so this former employee doesn't know which number this IP is on. That's odd. Regardless, this information was provided last year, so this is nothing new. I gotta admit, I'm mildly interested in this one, but I would definitely say that if they can get this game to play the way it looked in the trailer, my interest in the game will go dramatically up. But overall, this is a no-brainer. But if you are creating a leak and want to make it seem like you know everything they are going to show, then I understand this inclusion in this quote-unquote leak. Next up is Double Fine is busy working on Psychonauts 2 and a Banjo reboot. We already knew about Psychonauts 2, but a Banjo reboot from Double Fine? Look, I think Double Fine is probably more suited to do a reboot of that IP than Rare is at this point. But what I doubt is Tim Schafer sold his company to Microsoft, and the very first project they decided to do with their creative freedom and increased budget is an old IP from a different developer. Like, why? When I look at Double Fine's catalog of games and I think about all the times I've heard Schafer speak, I get the sense that the last thing he wants to do is a reboot of a game that wasn't created by his own people. I don't know, it just seems far-fetched to me. If it's true, I think they'll do an amazing job, but I really doubt it. Next, we have The Initiative doing a Perfect Dark reboot. A single-player focused game, but will have multiplayer made by the Coalition. I don't believe the Coalition doing this game's multiplayer at all. I don't see that happening, period. But part of this I do find to be somewhat plausible, and here's why. Unlike Double Fine, the Initiative is a brand new studio that is still trying to find its identity. It's still trying to build chemistry among one another. They need to get their feet wet. What better way to do that than to take something already established and find out what is going to work and not work for this unique group? They need to figure out what their culture is, what their workflow is. Why not reboot an older IP and work the kinks out? And after that's done, make your next game a brand new IP where it's 100% a homegrown idea and everyone is on the same page. Makes sense to me, but this is also another rumor that appeared before this leak. So its inclusion is no surprise. Depending on how the game is will determine whether I'm interested in the game or not. I never really cared for Perfect Dark. I am not one of those guys that have been asking for this to be rebooted. It can never come back as far as I'm concerned. If it's a massive revamp of the entire IP where the only thing that stays is the name and the character Joanna Dark, good. If the gameplay is, say, like third-person perspective with stealth and action elements, good. Let's say it's like sort of like a Metal Gear Solid with more of a focus on tech and the tech she uses to accomplish her goals. Yeah, I'll be down for that. But if it's just the same as the previous game with a fresh coat of paint on the visuals, hard pass. So next up we got inXile is working on a new RPG that isn't Bard's Tale, and it's a AAA game. Yet more information we already knew ahead of time. Studio head of inXile, Brian Fargo, actually confirmed this back in March with a retweet on Twitter. He did not deny it being AAA and definitely called it an RPG. So here's more information you already knew if you have been paying attention. I like inXile's RPGs. I'm looking forward to Wasteland 3. So I definitely would like to see what they could do with a AAA budget. What else we got here? Let's see. Ninja Theory working on Hellblade 2 and Project Mara. More information we already knew for months. The only thing new here is the addition of release windows, which literally anyone could have guessed. I'm down for Hellblade 2. I enjoyed the first game a lot, and I haven't seen enough of Project Mara for me to determine whether I'm going to want to play this or not. I mean, it looks amazing, but I still need to see more. Obsidian working on Outer Worlds 2, no brainer, considering how well the first did, and Matt Booty confirms this was going to happen last year, and a AAA IP. That was also confirmed to be in the works back in February of this year. I've always enjoyed Obsidian's games, and The Outer Worlds was fabulous, so I'm all for this, although I kind of doubt they'd be far enough along in development on either of these games to show them in June, so more than likely we're not going to see anything from Obsidian like that, except for Grounded. Playground working on Forza Horizon 5 and Fable 4. Now, here's another mistake this fake leaker has made. Playground has always revealed a Forza Horizon game in June at what is usually E3, and then release the game that same year. They've literally done that for every single Forza Horizon game. It's highly unlikely they would announce it this fall and then release it in 2021. Fable 4 is the worst kept secret in gaming. I can't wait for this one. I'm a big Fable fan. Fable 2 is the best one, in my opinion. And the part in this leak where it's very realistic graphics and a more mature tone sounds exactly like what every single podcast and Twitter post about this game have been saying for years now. Well, I love it to be the case, absolutely. Do I think it is? Nah. And this leaker makes another really bad mistake with Forza Horizon 5. They would not show this year and not release it this year. That's just the way Playground has done the Forza Horizon series. But you know, if you worked at Xbox division, you would know that, right? Anyway, Rare's Everwild is another Breath of the Wild clone. Not only do I think that's not true, and the only reason it's insinuated by this leaker is because of the similar art styles, but I don't think that's Rare's style, period. I don't find Rare's games enjoyable. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying they're bad games, I just don't like them. They don't appeal to me. But what I've come to know about today's Rare is that they are only interested in making completely unique experiences. Sea of Thieves is a game that you're not going to find a similar game like that anywhere. And it seems like that's all they care about doing. They don't want to do rehashes or games that are like another game, just slightly different. That's not their jam. They want to do something completely different and unique, not making another Breath of the Wild clone. Not only would making a Breath of the Wild clone not really fit their profile, but many games recently have been accused of doing that, being Breath of the Wild clones. So it'd be in their best interest to just not make Everwild anything like Breath of the Wild, period. And finally, Turn 10 announcing Forza Motorsport 8 and releasing it as a launch game for Xbox Series X. Literally the surest bet you can make on any game prediction this year. So in conclusion, this fake leak is littered with mistakes and missing some really obvious info, like don't nods, tell me why. A Xbox Game Studio published game from Xbox Game Studio Publishing coming out this summer. You would think a former Xbox Game Studio Publishing Division employee would remember to add a second party game to this leak, right? It's hilarious. So guys, games are coming and I'm just as excited as the rest of you, but take these leaks with a grain of salt and keep your expectations in check. This one is pretty boring and easy to determine to not be true, but I can foresee more coming out between now and June that'll be far more bold and slightly more believable. So please don't fall for the BS. Once again, keep your expectations in check and just enjoy the show. Let me know how you guys feel about this leak. Have you heard any other leaks? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't. It's all good. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Peace.